Good morning, honorable adjudicators, fellow debaters, and everyone present. Today, we stand in proud in the proposition of the motion, this House agrees for a world where human emotions such as happiness, sadness, and pain can be transferred to others. In the world that we live in today, emotions are invisible. You can say that you're happy, heartbroken, numb, or overjoyed, but no one will ever feel it the way you do. Well, this creates a deep gap, one where people misunderstand each other, where suffering is ignored, and where words like "I understand" often fall flat, just mere formality. We're connected by language, but we're clearly divided by emotional barrier. This motion proposes a world that changes that. A world where humans can transfer emotions, pain, sadness, and even joy from one person to another. Allow me to clarify what I mean. Imagine a world where people can voluntarily transfer emotion, joy, grief, or physical pain. Well, whether it's fully, partially, or temporarily or momentarily, this world respects consent and allow people to say, "Here, I want you to feel this with me." We, as the proposition, prefers that world. Imagine a world where people can voluntarily transfer emotion. This doesn't assume that emotions are transferred without control or just sent randomly. This is the ability to share, pass on, carry someone else's emotion with full awareness. What does this look like in practice? Well, we imagine a world where people can voluntarily transfer their emotions, like giving someone 30% of your happiness or sharing your grief with a partner. This only happens with mutual consent. No one is forced to receive or share anything. This technology or ability would be regulated just like emotional data. Take airdrop, for example. We're not saying people should feel everything all the time. We're saying that they can choose to share or receive when it matters. Let's acknowledge our status quo right now. Despite being connected, we're often emotionally isolated. More of "I understand how you feel." Most of the time, we don't, not fully. There's the huge gap in this world where it doesn't come from disagreements, but from emotional misunderstandings. But this world we believe that this world will close that gap with feeling. We believe that it would lead to greater empathy. And this leads to our first argument, where we believe that this might be a revolution in our empathy. Why? Because empathy is the backbone of morality, but it often fails. Why? Because it is full of pain, trauma, and even happiness that are invisible. People often struggle to support what you can feel. There's a limit to your compassion. So, joy is often jealous, not celebrated. Victims of war and abuse and grief are often ignored or dismissed. This world breaks that limit. If emotions can be transferred, you can no longer rely on imagination purely, but experience. Imagine a refugee being able to let a politician fear the fear that comes with displacement. A politician deciding on war could feel the soldier's fear. A student can experience a teacher's joy in teaching. A friend can carry a bit of your heartbreak. So when you feel, your actions will shift. You don't just sympathize, you internalize it within your soul. And this leads to stronger support, better care, and more humane policy. No longer will we rely on stats or distant imagination. We now can say, "I know how you feel," not just metaphorically, but literally. This leads our second argument, where it gives fairer distribution of emotional burden. Let's be real. Our status quo right now in distributing our feelings and burdens and more of accountability is unfair. Some can carry trauma for years, while others leave untouched. They can live through grief and trauma and chronic pain completely alone, while the privileged often opt out of pain, leaving others to suffer alone. This is not fair. It's a problem this motion will solve. We can share to learn. A grieving person could let their loved ones carry just a little bit of their sadness. trauma survivors being able to be heard in the most literal sense. This is justice, not just legally, but emotionally. This supports the vulnerable, creating networks that are real and felt, not just symbolic, and distribute what once was invisible into a pure emotional way. This lets our communities to grow closer, and emotional pain becomes something that unites us all. This leads to our third argument, where it can bring a system of justice. There's this sentence that we often hear in today's world when someone does harm to us. Well, they might say, "You're overthinking." That's it. Well, I didn't mean to hurt you. Well, what if they could feel the impact they've caused? People dismiss pain all the time. This brings empathy and accountability to a whole new level. A criminal could feel the portion of a victim's fear. A careless boss could feel the stress of their overworked staff. A manipulative partner could know what it feels like to be emotionally distressed by their actions. This is not just revenge or punishment, or this is pure their consequences and life lessons, where they experience consequences to teach so they can learn, reflect, grow. And people become more accountable when they are able to feel what they actually give. The opposition might say, wouldn't this lead to them feeling too much? This would be dangerous. No, we already risk emotional overload in today's world. We find justice rooted in emotional truth. This tool would be a way for us to spread our emotions fairly. We live in a world where emotions are ignored, misunderstood, dismissed, but this gives us an opportunity. This may sound chaotic and overwhelming, but you know what else is messy? The real world, where people bottle up their emotions, suppress their trauma, or lash out because no one truly understands them. This world doesn't ignore emotions. It confronts them, shares them, and heals them. They might say, this opens the door to exploitation or manipulation. But remember, this model is built on consent. So, you can only share what receive emotions willingly. We believe that empathy should be real, it should be shared, and justice should truly be felt. Joy should be shared, and pain can be softened. This is a way for them to be understood. This is better because it's a way for them to be understood so they won't be silent, suffering alone. And this is the world that we're proud to stand for.